Hello, hello, English learners. Welcome to the Easy English podcast from English Life Channel, where we learn English through real, daily life conversations. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Alex. Hi, Sarah. Hi, everyone. I'm really happy you're here today because this episode is about something every learner needs in normal conversation.
Alex, let me ask you a simple question. What did you do yesterday?
Yesterday? Wait, give me 1 second. My brain is opening yesterday's memory box.
Yesterday's memory box?
Yes, and it is full. There is coffee, work, messages, one small problem, 2 things I forgot, and maybe 1 snack I did not need.
Haha, that sounds like a very normal yesterday.
Very normal. A little messy, a little busy, and somehow I still ended the day looking for my phone while it was in my hand.
Haha, that is exactly why today's topic is useful. Today we are going to learn how to talk about yesterday in English.
I like this topic because yesterday is close enough to remember, but sometimes hard to explain.
Exactly. Many learners know what happened yesterday, but when someone asks, "How was your day yesterday?" they only say, "It was good."
Or, it was busy.
Or, "Nothing special."
And then the conversation quietly disappears.
Right. Those answers are not wrong, but they are a little empty. Today, we will help you make your answers clearer, warmer, and more natural.
So instead of saying only, yesterday was good, you can say what happened, how it felt, and how it turned out.
Perfect. That is the heart of this lesson. We are not only talking about past actions, we are learning how to tell a small daily life story.
A small daily life story. I like that. Yesterday is not always a movie, but it can still be a story.
Beautiful, Alex. So let's begin. How was your yesterday?
Yesterday was more eventful than I expected.
That is a great sentence. Learners, listen again. Yesterday was more eventful than I expected. Eventful means many things happened. Maybe you thought the day would be quiet, but it became busy or interesting.
Exactly. I thought yesterday would be simple. I wanted to answer a few messages, finish some work, drink coffee, and maybe feel like a responsible adult.
And did that happen?
Partly. The coffee happened. The responsible adult part was still loading.
Haha, fair enough.
In the morning, I woke up a little late. Not very late, but late enough to feel behind. Then I checked my messages, and suddenly it felt like everyone needed something.
So you could say, my morning started a bit stressful.
My morning started a bit stressful.
Or, I felt a little behind from the beginning.
I felt a little behind from the beginning. That sounds very natural.
Yes, it is not too dramatic, it is honest. When you talk about yesterday, you do not always need big words. You need clear feelings and small details.
So instead of saying, yesterday was bad, I can say, yesterday started a bit stressful.
Exactly. And instead of saying, yesterday was good, you can say, yesterday turned out better than I expected.
There is a very useful phrase, turned out.
Yes, turned out means the final result was a certain way. Maybe you expected a difficult day, but the result was okay. You can say, it turned out fine. Maybe you expected a boring day, but it became interesting. You can say, it turned out to be really nice.
Let me try. Yesterday turned out better than I expected.
Excellent.
The meeting turned out well.
Good.
My quiet day turned out to be surprisingly busy.
Very natural, and that is exactly how learners can sound more fluent. You take a simple idea and add a useful phrase.
Sarah, can I tell you what happened after the morning?
Please do.
I planned to stay home and finish my work. But around lunchtime, an old friend called me. He said, "Are you free for coffee?" And at first, I wanted to say no because I had work. But then I thought, maybe I need a short break.
So what happened?
I ended up meeting him for coffee.
Another very useful phrase, ended up. It means something happened, even though it was not your original plan. I planned to stay home, but I ended up going out.
I planned to work all afternoon, but I ended up meeting a friend.
Perfect. And if you meet someone without planning it, you can say, I ran into someone.
Right. Ran into means met by chance.
Exactly. For example, I ran into my neighbor at the supermarket, or I ran into an old classmate after work.
But in my story, my friend called me first, so I should say, I ended up meeting an old friend.
Correct. That difference is important. If it was not planned and happened by chance, use ran into. If the plan changed and you finally did something, use ended up.
That is useful. I ran into an old friend. I ended up meeting an old friend.
Good. Both are natural, but they are used in different situations.
So my full sentence could be, I planned to stay home, but I ended up meeting an old friend for coffee.
Very natural. And how was it?
Honestly, it was really nice. We had not talked for a long time, so we caught up.
Great phrase. Caught up means you talked about what has happened in your lives since the last time you spoke.
We caught up over coffee. That sounds good.
Very natural. You can also say, I caught up with an old friend. But remember, caught up on is different.
Like, I caught up on sleep.
Exactly. Caught up with a person. Caught up on a task, sleep, work, emails, reading, or housework.
I caught up with my friend. I caught up on sleep. Good difference.
So Alex, your yesterday started stressful, but then you met a friend. How did the day feel in the end?
It turned out to be worthwhile.
Excellent. Worthwhile means worth the time, effort, or energy. Maybe something was tiring, but still useful or meaningful.
So I can say, the day was busy, but worthwhile.
Yes. Or, the conversation was long, but worthwhile. Or, the practice was difficult, but worthwhile.
Yesterday was busy, but worthwhile. That is a strong sentence.
It is. Now let's build your full answer.
Yesterday was more eventful than I expected. My morning started a bit stressful, and I felt behind from the beginning. I planned to stay home, but I ended up meeting an old friend for coffee. We caught up for a while, and the day turned out to be really worthwhile.
That was excellent. Notice how much better that sounds than, yesterday was good.
Yes, it has a beginning, a change, and a result.
Exactly. Beginning, the morning was stressful. Change, you met a friend. Result, the day felt worthwhile.
That makes yesterday feel like a real story.
Yes, now let's talk about my yesterday.
Sarah, how was your yesterday?
Yesterday was quieter than I expected, but honestly, I needed that kind of day.
That is a nice sentence. Quieter than I expected.
Yes, not every yesterday is busy or exciting. Sometimes nothing major happens, and that is okay.
Nothing major happened is very natural.
Very natural. It means nothing big, serious, or very important happened. You can say, nothing major happened. I stayed home and took it easy.
Nothing major happened. I stayed home and took it easy. I like that.
Took it easy means you relaxed and did not push yourself too hard.
That is a useful phrase for quiet days.
Exactly. My yesterday was like that. I stayed home, caught up on a few small tasks, and took some time to rest.
Caught up on again.
Yes, I caught up on emails. I caught up on reading. I caught up on housework. It means I did things I had not had time to do earlier.
I often need to catch up on sleep.
Many people do.
Especially after saying, I will sleep early, and then suddenly it is midnight.
Haha, that happens to many of us.
So your yesterday was quiet, but useful.
Exactly. It was not exciting, but it felt peaceful. And that is another good word, peaceful.
Peaceful means calm and comfortable.
Yes. You can say, yesterday was peaceful, or I had a peaceful evening, or It was a simple day, but peaceful.
It was a simple day, but peaceful. That sounds very natural.
Good. And when you talk about yesterday, you can choose the feeling first. Was it peaceful, stressful, productive, tiring, frustrating, meaningful, surprising?
Productive is good too. It means you got useful things done.
Exactly. Yesterday was productive. I finished my work and organized my schedule.
Meaningful means something mattered to you.
Right. Yesterday was meaningful because I had a good conversation with my family.
So the feeling word changes the whole answer.
Exactly. Yesterday was busy gives one feeling. Yesterday was peaceful gives another feeling. Yesterday was frustrating gives another feeling.
Let's talk about frustrating days, because real life has those too.
Yes, it does. If yesterday was frustrating, you can be honest but still calm. You do not always need to say, "It was terrible."
You can say, yesterday was a bit frustrating.
Perfect. A bit makes it softer and more balanced. Yesterday was a bit frustrating because everything took longer than expected.
That phrase is very useful. Took longer than expected.
Yes, it means something needed more time than you thought. For example, the meeting took longer than expected. The repair took longer than expected. The trip took longer than expected.
Yesterday, one small task took longer than expected. I thought it would take 10 minutes, but it took almost an hour.
So you could say, that small task slowed me down.
Slowed me down means delayed me or made me move more slowly.
Exactly. The traffic slowed me down. The problem slowed me down. The long call slowed me down.
The problem slowed me down, but I managed to finish my work. That sounds natural.
Excellent. And there is another key phrase, managed to. It means you succeeded in doing something, especially when it was not easy.
I managed to finish everything. I managed to stay calm. I managed to get through the day.
Very good. Get through the day means you survived or handled the day, especially when it was difficult.
Some days, I got through it is enough.
Absolutely. That is a real-life sentence. It was hard, but I got through it.
Sarah, I like this because it teaches English, but it also feels human.
That is the goal. English is not only grammar. English is how we share our real life.
So if yesterday was frustrating, I can say, yesterday was a bit frustrating because everything took longer than expected. I felt behind, but I managed to stay calm and get through the day.
Perfect. That is much stronger than, yesterday was bad.
And softer, too.
Exactly. Natural English often sounds balanced. You can be honest without being too dramatic.
What if yesterday was boring?
Good question. You can say, yesterday was pretty quiet, or nothing major happened, or it was a normal day, but I enjoyed it.
So I do not need to invent a big story.
No, please do not turn laundry into an action movie.
But my laundry sometimes has drama.
Haha, maybe, but still, a quiet answer can be natural. For example, yesterday was pretty quiet. I stayed home, caught up on a few things, and took it easy.
That is a great answer.
Or, nothing major happened, but I had a peaceful evening and got some rest.
That is even warmer.
Yes, small details make your answer feel real.
So, the formula is feeling, detail, result.
Exactly. Let's say it clearly. First, say the general feeling. Yesterday was busy. Yesterday was peaceful. Yesterday was frustrating. Second, add one or two details. I had a lot going on. I stayed home. One task took longer than expected. Third, add the result or reflection. It turned out well. I managed to finish everything. When I look back on it, I feel proud.
Feeling, detail, result. That is easy to remember.
Yes. Now let's make a few better answers from basic answers.
Basic answer. Yesterday was good.
Better answer, Yesterday was pretty good. I finished my work early, took a walk in the evening, and felt relaxed by the end of the day.
Basic answer. Yesterday was busy.
Better answer? Yesterday was more eventful than I expected. I had a lot going on, but I managed to finish the most important things.
Basic answer. I stayed home.
Better answer. I stayed home, caught up on a few small tasks, and took some time to rest. It was simple, but peaceful.
Basic answer. I met a friend.
Better answer. I ended up meeting an old friend for coffee. We caught up for a while, and the conversation really made my day.
Made my day is a great phrase.
Yes, it means something made you very happy or improved your day. Your message made my day. Seeing my friend made my day. That kind comment made my day.
A kind comment really can make your day.
It can. And learners, before we continue, here is your small practice. Write one sentence in the comments about your yesterday. Start with, yesterday was, or I managed to, or it turned out. Keep it simple. The goal is practice, not perfection.
And if this lesson is helping you, please like this video, subscribe to English Life channel, and share it with a friend who wants to speak English more naturally. Your support helps us create more daily English lessons for you.
Thank you, Alex. Now let's continue with a question learners hear all the time. Did anything interesting happen yesterday?
I hear this question and sometimes panic because nothing interesting happened.
That is okay. You can answer naturally. Not really, but I had a quiet day. Or, not much, but I caught up on some work.
Not really, but I had a quiet day. Not much, but I caught up on some work.
Very natural. Not really is softer than only saying no. It keeps the conversation open.
And if something interesting did happen,
you can say, actually, yes. For example, actually, yes. I ran into an old friend at the store.
Or, actually, yes. I ended up having a really good conversation with my neighbor.
Excellent. Now let's practice another question. How did yesterday go?
That question asks about the result.
Correct. You can say, it went well, but we can make it richer. It went better than expected. It went smoothly. It did not go as planned, but it was okay in the end.
It did not go as planned is very useful.
Yes, it means the plan changed or something happened differently. For example, yesterday did not go as planned, but I handled it.
I handled it means I dealt with the situation.
Exactly. It sounds confident. It did not go as planned, but I handled it.
That is a strong sentence for daily life.
Now let's try short, medium, and longer answers, just like real conversation.
Short answer for a calm day. Yesterday was pretty calm.
Medium answer. Yesterday was pretty calm. I stayed home, caught up on a few things, and took it easy.
Longer answer. Yesterday was pretty calm, which was exactly what I needed. I stayed home, caught up on a few small tasks, and gave myself time to rest. When I look back on it, I'm glad I did not try to do too much.
Excellent. Now a busy day.
Short answer. Yesterday was really busy.
Medium answer. Yesterday was really busy. I had a lot going on, but I managed to finish most of my work.
Longer answer. Yesterday was really busy from the beginning. I had messages to answer, work to finish, and one small problem that took longer than expected. It felt overwhelming at first, but I took it step by step and managed to get through it.
Beautiful. Now a surprising day.
Short answer. Yesterday was surprisingly good.
Medium answer. Yesterday was surprisingly good. I thought it would be boring, but it turned out to be really nice.
Longer answer. Yesterday was surprisingly good. I expected a normal day, but I ended up having a great conversation with someone I had not spoken to in a while. It made my day, and when I look back on it, I feel grateful.
Excellent. Now a frustrating day.
Short answer, yesterday was a bit frustrating.
Medium answer, yesterday was a bit frustrating because everything took longer than expected.
Longer answer, yesterday was a bit frustrating because several small things went wrong. My morning started slowly, one task slowed me down, and I felt behind for most of the day. Still, I managed to stay calm and finish what I could.
Very natural. And this is important. Still is useful when you want to show contrast. It was hard. Still, I kept going. I was tired. Still, I finished the work.
I was tired. Still, I finished the work. That sounds strong.
It does. Now, Alex, let's move into our practice section.
I know what that means. It is time for the word tour.
Yes, this is where we take the most useful words and phrases from today's conversation and practice them slowly.
We will say the phrase, explain it simply, and give real-life examples you can use when you talk about yesterday.
Our first phrase is eventful.
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 Eventful means full of things happening. Maybe the day was busy, surprising, or had more activities than you expected.
Yesterday was more eventful than I expected.
It was an eventful day.
My weekend was quiet, but yesterday was eventful.
Great. Our next phrase is turned out.
Turned out.
Turned out.
Turned out.
Turned out means the final result was a certain way.
Yesterday turned out better than I expected.
The meeting turned out well.
It turned out to be a peaceful evening.
Excellent. Our next phrase is ended up.
Ended up.
Ended up.
Ended up.
Ended up means something happened even though it was not the original plan.
I planned to stay home, but I ended up going out.
I ended up meeting a friend for coffee.
We ended up talking for almost an hour.
Very good. Our next phrase is ran into.
Ran into.
Ran into.
Ran into.
Ran into means met someone by chance.
I ran into my neighbor yesterday.
I ran into an old friend at the store.
I unexpectedly ran into someone I knew.
Great. Our next phrase is manage to.
Manage to.
Manage to.
Manage to.
Manage to means you succeeded in doing something, especially when it was not easy.
I managed to finish my work.
I managed to stay calm.
I managed to get through the day.
Excellent. Our next phrase is caught up on.
Caught up on.
Caught up on.
Caught up on.
Caught up on means you did something you had not had time to do earlier.
I caught up on emails.
I caught up on sleep.
I caught up on housework.
Good. Our next phrase is worthwhile.
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 Worthwhile means worth the time, effort, or energy.
It was tiring, but worthwhile.
The conversation was long, but worthwhile.
Yesterday turned out to be worthwhile.
Beautiful. Our final phrase is look back on.
Look back on.
Look back on.
Look back on.
Look back on means to remember something and think about it later.
When I look back on yesterday, I feel proud.
When I look back on it, I'm glad I tried.
Looking back, I learned something useful.
Great job. Now let's put these words together in one natural answer. Listen first.
Yesterday was more eventful than I expected. I planned to stay home, but I ended up going out. I ran into an old friend, caught up with him for a while, and still managed to finish my work later. The day was tiring, but it turned out to be worthwhile. When I look back on it, I feel glad.
That was excellent. Now let's say it in smaller parts.
Yesterday was more eventful than I expected.
I planned to stay home, but I ended up going out.
I ran into an old friend.
I managed to finish my work later.
The day turned out to be worthwhile.
When I look back on it, I feel glad.
Now try to make your own sentence. Start with, yesterday was, or I managed to, or when I look back on yesterday.
And remember, your sentence does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be real.
That is important. Real practice is better than silent perfection.
Absolutely. Now let's review a few useful sentences from today.
Yesterday was more eventful than I expected.
My morning started a bit stressful.
I planned to stay home, but I ended up going out.
I ran into an old friend.
I caught up with my friend.
I caught up on a few small tasks.
I managed to finish my work.
Everything took longer than expected.
The day turned out better than I thought.
It was tiring, but worthwhile.
When I look back on yesterday, I feel proud.
And one bonus sentence: nothing major happened, but it was still a nice day.
I love that sentence because not every yesterday needs fireworks.
Exactly. Sometimes a quiet yesterday is still worth talking about.
Sarah, before we finish, can we do one final natural conversation?
Of course. Alex, how did your yesterday go?
It went better than I expected. My morning started a little stressful because I had a lot going on, but I took it step by step. Later, I ended up meeting an old friend for coffee, and that conversation made my day. When I look back on it, I feel grateful.
That sounds lovely. My yesterday was quieter than yours. Nothing major happened, but I caught up on a few things at home and took some time to rest. It was simple, peaceful, and exactly what I needed.
That is a beautiful answer. It shows that a simple day can still have meaning.
Yes, and that is what we want you to remember. When you talk about yesterday in English, do not only list actions. Add a feeling. Add one small detail. Add the result.
Feeling, detail, result.
Exactly. That simple pattern can help you speak more naturally.
And now it is your turn. Write one sentence in the comments about your yesterday. You can write, yesterday was more eventful than I expected, or I managed to finish my work, or nothing major happened, but it was still a nice day.
If this episode helped you, please like this video, subscribe to English Life channel, and share it with someone who is learning English. And save this lesson so you can practice these sentences again.
Thank you for spending this time with us. Keep listening, keep speaking, and keep turning your real daily life into real English.
This is Sarah.
And this is Alex.
You have been listening to the Easy English podcast from English Life channel.
Take care of yourself.
Take care of your English.
And we will see you in the next episode.
Bye for now.